When you're thinking about Bluetooth headphone, what comes to your mind first? I believe it's a simple closed back, maybe on-ear headphone with Bluetooth, with simple Bluetooth. Maybe you could find, you may be imagining some brands like Sony, or Audio Technica. Yeah, those two are really good in Bluetooth headphone. But can you imagine using a Bluetooth headphone with open back planar type of driver? Personally, I think it's the only brand that I could think of when I'm thinking of Bluetooth headphone with open back planar driver. So hello and welcome to Aftersound Review, and this is my review for that headphone. This is the Hifiman Deva Pro. So first of all, thank you for Intium Indonesia for providing me with this review unit, and it costs around $300, which is quite close to the really excellent Sundara. And as I said, that it is a Bluetooth headphone. You might ask, there's cable here. Yes, it's detachable, and then you can use the Bluetooth module here, which is very compact. And at first I have a little bit of doubt, because you know that usually a planar open back headphone, it's quite hard to drive. And I'm not gonna lie, this Bluetooth headphone, this Bluetooth connector and this Bluetooth adapter, whatever you might call it, it really feels small. And yeah, is it enough to have that power to drive this open back planar headphone? Okay, just like usual, I will break down this review from the build, fit, Bluetooth, and then the sound. Well, I have to say that the build quality is just so mediocre, or maybe a little bit underwhelming, because how light they are, and they feel really plasticky in some parts. But maybe I think that's on purpose, because it's for you to walk around in your home with this headphone, you know, because this is a Bluetooth headphone. But nevertheless, I feel that the build quality doesn't really seems really assuring. This part definitely feels plastic, and also the headphone itself, this part, the cup itself, feels really plasticky, only maybe around the hinge. It feels like aluminium, I guess. And then the headband itself there's metal inside here, and it's fully padded with foam. Yeah, actually, when it comes to the build quality, it feels like a cut down version of the headphone, like this Edition XS, which feels using more premium material, especially around the hinge and also the cup part. It feels really plastic in here. And also the ear pad itself is made of two kind of material. It's actually similar to the Sundara, where you can find synthetic leather here. It feels like yeah, it's synthetic leather here, and then fabric around this part. But inside here, this part, it's also synthetic leather. And yeah, this is just foam. And the cable itself, again, it feels like the one that is being used on the Edition XS. It feels really flexible, and I like it. But yeah, you also get this plastic headphone Bluetooth connector, so it's really small and really lightweight, and you can just use them like this. It will fit this Hifiman logo here, so like this you will see. Yeah, but yeah, I have a little bit of doubt, because you know, usually open back planar headphones are really hard to drive, and this Bluetooth receiver, it's really small. Well, the ergonomics is actually one of my favorite part about this headphone, because I have been using them for maybe around 5 or 6 hours when I'm working from home, and I think I have really no complaints about that. It's just a really similar feeling that I get from this Hifiman Edition XS, which is it's really lightweight, and then also the clamping force isn't too hard, and it's really breathable, so I don't feel any hot spot. Yeah, I can simply wear them for hours without any problem at all. It's just simply perfect for me. This Bluetooth module is really simple. I mean, just take a look at this. It's really small, and on the headphone itself, there's a writing here. Maybe you cannot really see it because it's kind of fade, but 3.5mm TRRS here. So yeah, you plug it into the left side, left side only, and it's like just like this. And then it's only have this USB charging port and also one button only, so it's a really simple Bluetooth module. When you turn it on like this, yeah, you get that power on. And then this is the connected when you're already connected to your handphone or maybe your DAP. But if you want to change it into pairing mode, just click twice on the volume on this button, and then this is the pairing mode when it flashes blue and green color, and just clicking again to turn it off. So it's a really simple Bluetooth module. You can only using pairing mode and then on, off, or maybe pause and play song. It's a really simple one. But one thing that I'm really amazed by this Bluetooth, it's using R2R DAC from Himalaya with Y, and then when I'm pairing it with my phone, it only needs 60% of the volume to get a decent sound volume. It's really loud enough using only 60% from my phone connected to this headphone, and I already get a really punchy bass and also clear mid and treble range. So yeah, it's an amazing Bluetooth headphone. Maybe it's the best Bluetooth headphone that I've ever tried. Obviously, it defeats Sony. Maybe in terms of practicality, you can use Sony headphone maybe for noise cancelling. It doesn't have noise cancelling here. But in terms of sound quality only, for me, I will definitely pick this Hifiman Deva Pro. It's just imagine you're walking in your house using this really good headphone, and then you're listening to it while you're reading books, or maybe you're wanna go to the maybe eat. Yeah, it's just a really practical Bluetooth headphone when you're using it home. Now let's talk about the sound of this Hifiman Deva Pro, which is I have tried using the Bluetooth module and then my iBesso DX160 and also this i5 Zen Air DAC, and for me, I perceive some different in tonality when using this Bluetooth module specifically. I don't know why, but the bass I perceive to be bigger and more punchier compared to the iBesso DX160 and the Zen Air DAC. That somehow gives this Hifiman Deva Pro more warm sensation. So I could say that maybe it has some purpose in there, because usually when you're walking, you need maybe more bass to keep the fun going on, because you usually perceive a little bass when you're outside compared to when you're in your home. But actually, this is an open back headphone and I'm not planning to use them outside. So yeah, I don't know, but that's just what I perceive. And then if talking about the overall sound of this Deva Pro itself when using wired mode, I feel that first of all, I will say to you that I will compare this Deva Pro with the Sundara extensively, because they have really similar price point, and for me they actually are really good in their own way. This Deva Pro is simply a more forgiving but less technical Sundara. That's what I perceive. It's a little bit warmer Sundara, but you just get a cut in the technicality. It's less resolving, it's less clearer, but you get a more forgiving kind of headphones. It will forgive more bad recorded soundtracks and more like that. It's just less also less sibilant to some of the songs that I perceive to be sibilant in Sundara. So yeah, but I still say that this is somehow a neutral-ish warm headphone. But when using this Bluetooth module, I will say that this is simply somehow warm headphone, but still have that good mid-range and treble sparkle. Okay, starting from the bass itself, that this bass it's actually a very all-rounder kind of bass. It could be quite punchy bass, but still having this controlled speed. But I wouldn't say that this is for a bass head. Except when you're using this Bluetooth headphone, when I'm using hearing EDM, somehow I could say that maybe some of your bass head will be satisfied with this kind of bass, because it's really punchy, it's full, it could go deep down. But actually I perceive more sub bass in the Sundara again. In here I perceive more mid bass, so yeah, it's actually thicker sounding than the bass from the Sundara. And yeah, it's less accurate actually, but it's more fun for some certain tracks, especially when you are bass head and you love a thicker bass. Yeah, you get that here. And then the mid-range itself is actually, I really like it because it's a little bit thicker sounding Sundara again. The male vocal sounds a little bit fuller, and also the female vocal sometimes a bit meatier, but not exactly sweeter. I hope you get what I mean. It's, of course, it's a little bit thicker overall, but not more sweet, but less resolving. But I should say, in some bad recorded tracks, such as Phil Collins' Son of Man or Two Worlds, for me, I couldn't hear that tracks actually when I'm hearing them through Sundara, because there's a lot of sibilance there. But in this headphone, I perceive less sibilance, and therefore I could hear those kind of tracks using this Deva Pro. And the treble, actually, it's quite extended, but it's not really bright and not really clear either, especially after you're trying Sundara. But I wouldn't say that it is rolled off. It's just a little bit less resolving and less clear. But nevertheless, the overall tonality of this headphone, I could say that it is still a really versatile headphone, and it's a really all-rounder headphone that you can play a lot of tracks and you wouldn't complain. It's just a really versatile kind of headphone. And for me, the technicality is also good if there is no Sundara. At this price point, maybe we're talking about $300. I should say that it's quite good, especially when we're talking about the overall presentation of this headphone itself. It has quite good tonality and also good technicality. Again, if there is no Sundara. Sundara is simply more resolving, but not that far. And this headphone has Bluetooth module, so I hope you could understand that even though there is Sundara, the great Sundara that I really like, but this headphone, because of its newer design and more comfortable overall design of this headphone and also this Bluetooth module, it has something that Sundara doesn't have, is versatility and also ease of use maybe. Because when I'm using this, even though I have Sundara or maybe even this Hifiman Edition XS right beside me, I don't really care about them because it is just really a versatile one. And I mean, I could walk around my house like this and then still hear really good music through my headphone. So yeah, it's a really good headphone. So which one should you buy? Maybe if you're more of a maybe you sit down all day and you're hearing through your maybe expensive and dedicated DAC amps, maybe I should say just buy Sundara instead. Or maybe save a little bit, you might get a Hifiman Edition XS instead. But this is actually entirely for me for a different purpose. It's not all about the sound, but it's more about the ease of use for me, because you could use them using this Bluetooth and not and still it's a really good headphone. You get a really good bass, fast bass from this Planar driver, and then a really good resolving sound, really good tonality balance that I will always enjoy no matter what. So yeah, for me it still gives a really good value, especially if you're looking for a Bluetooth headphone, especially at $300 price point. For me, I couldn't really recommend anything else, even IM or headphone that I've tried for Bluetooth at $300 price point. It's nowhere near this Hifiman Deva Pro. It's just a really good headphone, especially if we're talking about the Bluetooth world. But if we're talking about the wired headphones, yeah, you'll go buy something else, maybe like the HD 600 or the Hifiman Sundara, or just save a little bit more, go to $500 price point and go buy Edition XS instead. But I think that's all I could say about this Deva Pro overall for a Bluetooth headphone. It's a really versatile one. I could imagine myself walking around the garden using this headphone, because how good they are, how comfortable they are, and how good they sound even in Bluetooth mode. I hope that's all I could say about this headphone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any question, please write down in the comments below, and see you next time. Bye bye.